the apps that we have on our phones are telling us the timing of Salah. What is the view on adding 15 minutes to each of the time told us or said to us by the applications? So if one adds 15 minutes by one's choice, there is no harm, because the time of the Salah still extends till maybe more than an hour, 2 hours, or even 3 hours. That is that of Zuhr and Asri. But the problem is, one will have to pray Solat to Jum'Ah. You want to pray Solat to Jum'Ah in the masjid. What if the 15 minutes that you have added, they are not adding up to that? So one will have to pray with them, unless if one is sure that the time of Salah is not coming as at the time they are what? Doing Iqamah. Let's assume they are saying the Adhan maybe before the time. Maybe they use what you have on the app. That is what they do. So, but when they want to do the Iqamah, maybe they had 10 minutes to what they have on the app. So when they are doing the Iqamah, the time has already come in. So in that case, one will have to pray with them, because as at the time they are establishing this Salah, it is time for Zuhr already. But let's say you are in a place, you may decide to add 30 minutes, 20 minutes on your own. But when you have to pray Salah to Jama'ah, there must be a genuine reason why you are not praying with the people. So maybe the time for the Salah has not come in. So if it has come in, one will have to join them. So Allahu A'lam. As I said earlier, all the apps, whether you are using Muslim World League, or you are using ISNA, you are using Qura, you are using Egyptian General, whatever, all the apps, they agree when it comes to Zuhr, Asri, and what? And Maghrib. They agree. All the apps now will tell you Asri comes in 4:19, or some of them it may be reading 4:20. But as I said earlier, you have to add something. Add about 6 minutes. So when we added 6 minutes to this. So if you look up, I don't know if it's displayed, it will be around 4:25. It will be around 4:25. So that is when I rest assured that the time of Asr comes in, not 4:19 or 4:20 that one sees on the apps, because that 4:20 is carried over from the time of Zuhr, and that time of Zuhr is when the sun is at the zenith. So most of the time, and you are not supposed to pray when the sun is at the zenith. Time for Zuhr doesn't come in until the sun has moved away from the zenith. So, and that's why it's around 4:25 or so. So if one decides to pray 4:30, 4:40, 4:50, that's one. But the reason why you are not praying behind the Jama'ah in your area must be a valid reason. So if because the time has not come in. So if the time has not come in, you don't pray behind them. You don't have any authority to force you to pray behind them. So I had to be during the time of some of the rulers, the Muslim rulers, that if they see somebody doesn't pray, so that person will be punished and tortured. Then in that case, you pray with them and you watch. You repay your Salah. You repay your Salah. So when the Salah, there is this issue again, that the Salah, for instance, let's say, as I said, 4:25 now. Let's say people start praying 4:19 or 4:20. Maybe immediately they make the Adhan. They call the Iqamah. And maybe they start around 4:22. No, we said the Adhan to them is, let's say, 4:19. So maybe they call the Adhan. By 4:22, they didn't wait at all. They just start the Iqamah for the Salah. And by 4:24, the Imam says, Allahu Akbar, entering into Salatu Al-Asri a minute before the time you are convinced that the Salah comes in. Should you pray with them? The answer is no. Because if you pray with them, you have also entered the Salah before its time. Now, what if they are praying maybe by 4:30, when you believe the time has, can you join them? The answer is still no. Because those that you have joined, they started before the time. So now you are what? You are justified. You have genuine reason for not praying the Jum'Ah. But let's say they call the Adhan 4:19, as we have it on the app. But they don't do Iqamah until, let's say, 4:30. So you should join them. Because at the time they are establishing the Salah, it is also time for the Salah as you are convinced. So Allahu A'lam. Now this is a good question. Let's say around 4:19 that the app is telling us now. That is the app, as they said, not with the addition of 6 minutes. With the addition of 6 minutes, that will be 4:25. Now, but let's say without the addition of 6 minutes, 4:19. So you are telling them it's not time for Salah. They are saying it is time for Salah. Then they say, let's measure it. So you see the pole, for instance, are they erect? And you see the shadow is longer than the pole. Doesn't that mean that they are right and you are wrong? No, that does not mean they are right, you are wrong. We have to know what is the residual shadow at the time of Zuhr. Because what is left of the residual shadow may be much. To the extent that if you should add the length of that object, again it will be longer than what you are seeing now. I don't know if it is clear. So you cannot say because it is longer than the object, then it is time for Asr. That is not enough. It must, because they are adding something to the residual shadow. So what is the length of the residual shadow? You have to know that first. Before you are now joining the length of that object. Take for instance, maybe the residual shadow is, let's say, 3 centimeters or something like that. Or 2 centimeters before at the residual shadow. So maybe by the time they say it is Asr, maybe the length of the object itself is, let's say 6 centimeters. I'm just saying something like that too. So that means what you'll be having should be what? 9 centimeters. Because the residual is what? Is 3. And the object itself is what? Is 6. That means everything will be 9. But now you have 7, which is longer than the height of the object. So one may fall for them by saying, it is time. But the truth is that it's not time, because the residual shadow is not 1 centimeter. So you can't tell me it is time for Asri unless if you know the time for Zuhr. If you do not know the time for Zuhr, you cannot say this is the time for Asr. Because time for Zuhr does not come in until the sun moves away from the meridian. And that will be an increase toward the residual shadow. I hope it is clear.
The Guidance Facebook page. Follow, like, and share.